Okay, make it brief. 12 for 27 from the free throw line. Let's just start it right there. I could have just said the numbers and not said where that was from. I would have been like, that's free throws, right? What's disappointing is we shot 52% from the field in the second half, shot 45% overall for the game, almost 46%, but that was also our free throw shooting percentage today too. So, you know, just hate, I guess the silver lining is that we got 27 free throw attempts, so happy with that and happy with the attack on the basket. But you know, my comments in the locker room with the girls were, we're living on borrowed time right now when we're shooting the ball that way from the free throw line, because away from the Mavy Center or in conference tournament or in postseason play, you do not get to advance, you know, in that kind of situation. So at the same time, I walk that fine line as a coach, and I don't, they're not broken shooters, you know, so I don't want to make it mental. Remember, 15 years ago, Roy Williams had an amazing KU team, but one thing they just couldn't do was make free throws, and I haven't called Coach Williams yet, you know, to see what finally happened. But anyway, proud of the girls. You know, we're definitely playing with slimmer numbers right now, but great highlights out of each of the individual players. Obviously, Ashley's sitting here with me for a reason today. Esther Udomo comes in and gets a huge offensive rebound putback, hits her free throws. So just good minutes out of everybody that's coming in. I know Ashley led us from the field with 15 points today, but we also had Faith and KK in double digits, and Blair almost there. Well, Blair and Jordan almost there. Jordan Doyle's three-pointers on a string right now. I just think it's, I mean, she's really looking for it at the right times, and it looks really good. So a lot of good highlights, but at the same time, we're trying to kind of nurse Dorka back to health, and we're hoping to get Bria back soon. And so the 7 that we've got right now, you know, their tongues are hanging out, you know, at the end of a 40-minute game, and so anytime we can get that win, we'll take it. So no complaints here. Thank you.
Coach, the offense flowed well, as you talked about earlier. A couple times you had, you guys swung the ball and made the extra pass, and Jordan got an elbow 3. Just talk about some of the things you were working on, trying to get those open shots. They weren't falling a couple weeks ago, but they're starting to fall now.
Yeah. One of the things that I was really happy about today, I didn't like the start of what we did today, because the first 3 of the first 4 shots of the game that we took were threes. And that's always the risk you run when you come up against a team that's going to play you predominantly zone, is that you settle. And where our advantage was, their 3 guards at the top of their 1-2-2 to me are their most athletic and the most aggressive defenders on their team. And the whole first half, our 3 perimeter players just kind of sat up there and matched up with them. You know, we let them kind of play where their best defenders were, and we weren't taking advantage of Maria and Blair and Faith and what they can do for us against their interior players. I thought one of my favorite lineups in the second half is when we actually had Faith and Maria and Blair all in together offensively, and we got a couple of Maria had a beautiful, you know, bounce pass to Blair one time. She also found Faith on the backside. You know, all of a sudden we began to get different layers of what we want to get offensively against the zone, instead of just building a wall around the three-point line and looking for the same thing the whole time. But again, I really like Maria is that player that we could make Maria shoot the ball enough to where she could come out and get 15 or 16 every game, but she just really glues everything together. And anytime she catches the ball at the free throw line, she does a great job of looking for KK and Jordan. You know, so I think that's one of the things too. And then Jordan is an excellent three-point shooter, especially when she's got her feet set. All she's got to do is receive it, you know, and then let it fly. And I liked every one of the shots that she took today in those scenarios. So.
Ashley, you had a great game today, both offensively and defensively, coming up with some strips here and there to really help the team late in the game. Talk about how being inserted in the starting lineup has helped your game, boosted your confidence a little bit more.
Well, I mean, I didn't play like my best non-conference, so I think once that was over, I was just like, okay, I gotta dial in, I gotta do everything Coach tells me to do, gotta work hard, and I just feel more confident, and my coaches give me confidence, my teammates give me confidence, and I'm not gonna hold back. I'm gonna like give my all.
Coach, Dorka went through the shoot around, looked okay, but then when it came to game time, was it just, she just didn't feel right?
I think I went in prepared to call her name today. I think Kyron felt the same way over there. She's progressively getting better, but the best thing with that plantar fasciitis that she's dealing with is rest. So the longer we can kind of keep stringing, wins together, and she's able to rest that foot. That's going to help us in February, and that's going to help us in conference tournament and everything too. So then by the time, when they made a run, or I think it was 51-50 maybe down the stretch, and it's kind of a close game, now at this point she has sat for 37 minutes, so I feel like that's almost an unfair situation to put her in there, at that moment, and so we kind of have a little bit of a rhythm then at that point. But I'm so proud of Dorka, because I know nobody's more frustrated that she's not playing her role for us right now than she is, but I felt like she led the charge with all of the energy on the bench and celebrating when things were going well, and that was an ingredient that we needed. Two of our red shirts, Lakota, Ashley's older sister, and Jordy Gilbert, are at an Athletes in Action conference this weekend down in Dallas. So they're down representing ORU, and they're getting to be a part of that because of red shirting this year. And we missed their mouths on the bench today too, Well, I know you're thinking Jordy, aren't you? Yeah, Jordy has that mouth, and she. In fact, we had Jordy on speakerphone today. She led our prayer before we came out at the 5-minute mark. We kind of knew, because that's just what she does. And so I thought Dorka did a great job of putting a Band-Aid on that situation, that we were down a little bit even on our personnel that's normally on the bench as far as their energy is concerned. So.
Last question for you, Coach. The decision to bring Faith off the bench as your sixth man, is that just kind of to maximize her energy she brings?
Yes, and because we all know she could be pulling every opening tip right now if we had her in the starting lineup. I think the biggest thing is it gives us a chance to, it's really more, Russell, about what we're doing defensively, to where we do so much switching except for Blair. We try to kind of find that one player that Blair can kind of sit back off of, and when we've got Maria in as the 5 early instead of as the 4, sometimes Maria has to take a lot of abuse against whoever that big 5 is early in the game, to whereas if Blair kind of takes the initial assault, from a good post player like Gary was today, then by the time Maria's kind of maybe moving into the 5, their 5 may be subbing out at the same time, and now we're smaller and we're faster and we're quicker, and then we get to kind of really get the defense going a little bit. So it's just kind of fit together on several different levels. We absolutely, and Faith knows this, if anything, I think Faith should shoot the ball more. I think she should go create her shot more. Not starting Faith is not to diminish her at all. It's just to kind of get us our best defensive look coming out of the gate, and then to get us another great defensive look when she does come in. And even today, we brought her in for Maria a couple of times, and then kind of kept Blair in that lockdown position. So.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.
Good night. Thanks, you guys. All right.